Hey everyone, and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. So it is currently Tuesday, not Monday, as I kept thinking all of today because yesterday was the bank holiday. So it's currently Tuesday, and I thought I would start this weekly reading vlog by going through my reading plans for this week. So I'm still taking part in the magical readathon, which is hosted by G at Book Roast, and I'm also taking part in EUROVISIONATHON, which is hosted by Helen from Helen's Bookhaven. So I'll leave both readathon announcement videos linked in the description just in case you wanted to find out more. But my main priority for this week is to try and get through some of the books that are on my TBR because I've not been doing a good job at that so far this month. Yeah, my main goal for this week is to finish The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, which is, I think, a mystery rather than a thriller, and it's basically about a woman called Jess whose brother lives in Paris, and she gets in touch with him before the start of the book and asks if she can come and stay with him for a while, and he agrees even though he doesn't really want her to come and stay. But then when she arrives, she finds that he's missing, and there's something a bit dodgy going on with the apartment building and the people that live there. It keeps flicking between all of these different perspectives, and the main issue that I'm having at the moment is that all of the perspectives feel the same. So I keep getting confused over who is who, and there is intrigue there because I want to know what happened to this guy. I've made an assumption, but obviously I don't know if I'm right. I'm literally about 15% of the way through. I started it last night and then I read a little more on the train into the office this morning. But that is my goal. My main goal for this week is to finish The Paris Apartment, and then I'm also going to be picking up Cersei by Madeline Miller, although I'm not sure whether I'm going to start that this week or wait until next week. I need to check actually what other books are on my TBR. Okay, so I have a couple of Brandon Sanderson novellas that I would also like to get round to, but they're only short, so I could probably squeeze them in next week if I need to. And then the other book that I have on my April TBR that I still need to get round to is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I could actually listen to the audiobook for that because it is available on Scribd. I do have a physical copy, but I've left it upstairs. So I might make that my goal for this week, to finish The Paris Apartment and then also make a start on Good Girl Bad Blood. And then this can be a kind of themed reading vlog because both of those are mystery books. Outside of reading, I don't really have much else planned this week. I am going out for brunch on Saturday, which I'm really looking forward to, but otherwise I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice chilled week and I can get lots of reading done because I really want to get back on track with my April TBR. Hey everyone, so it's now Tuesday evening and I am here with reading updates because I actually finished a book today. I went for a walk earlier and I've been doing chores around the house this evening, and I managed to finish The River of Silver by S.A. Chakraborty. I've been listening to the audiobook for this because it's available on Scribd, and I'm pretty sure that actually the physical copy doesn't come out until later this year, so it's audio exclusive at the moment. But I did enjoy the audiobook. I really liked the narration and I could still really feel the atmosphere, which is what I loved about the original trilogy. This is basically a collection of short stories that's set within the world of the Daevabad and the City of Brass and the Empire of Gold and what's the other book called? The Kingdom of Copper. The Kingdom of Copper actually was probably my favourite book in the trilogy, but some of the short stories are set before the City of Brass, and then some are set during the trilogy, and then some are set after, and I think I preferred the prequel stories more than the ones that were set during and after. I think it's because I preferred learning about the older side characters when they were younger. I don't really know whether the other stories really added much. It was still an enjoyable read. I still really liked being back in this world and with these characters. I just don't know how much the stories are going to stick with me long term, so I'm kind of going back and forth on my final rating for this. I think I'm probably going to mark it as 4 stars on Goodreads and then just bring it down if I change my mind later. either, but yeah, it's probably about a 3.5. I would still recommend it if you liked the original trilogy. I wouldn't recommend it at all actually if you haven't read the original trilogy, because there are spoilers throughout the whole book, so there'd be no point in reading it unless you want it to be spoiled, I don't know. This is fulfilling the magical readathon prompt for spells and incantations, which is to read short stories or essays. I did actually have another book on my TBR for this that I was gonna read for this prompt, but I decided to switch things around a little bit because I wanted to listen to this more. I am also still reading The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and I have mixed feelings on this book, and I felt exactly the same way about the other two books that I've read by Lucy Foley, but I think I'm going to start by going through some positives. So I really like the setting of this book and how it takes place in this apartment building, and how there's a lot of mystery and there's a lot of atmosphere. There have been a few moments that have felt quite tense and where I have felt my heart rate going up, and so I have enjoyed that aspect. However, considering that I think I'm at nearly 30% of the way through, not a lot has really happened so far, and so it's feeling a little bit tedious and a little bit repetitive. It's doing that thing where some chapters will end on a cliffhanger and it's meant to make you want to carry on reading, but it feels quite forced, and so instead it's just making me roll my eyes. Like I said, this is the third book that I've read by Lucy Foley, and all of her books have really, really unlikable characters, but it's to the point where I just don't really care about any of them. So in The Paris Apartment, the only perspective that I really care about at the moment is the main character, Jess. All the other characters just don't interest me at all, and so when I get to those chapters, I'm not that motivated to carry on reading. Yeah, it's a shame because I do really like the mystery and how I don't really have any theories so far on what happened to Ben. So Ben is Jess's brother. I don't know if I actually mentioned his name, but he's a journalist, and it seems like he was investigating something before he went missing, and it's been implied that the people that live in this apartment building have secrets. Don't really have any predictions so far on what's going on. I mean, I have an obvious prediction, but I don't know whether it's too obvious. So I am now about 60% of the way through The Paris Apartment, and I was considering DNFing this because I wasn't really enjoying the first half. However, I feel like things are starting to pick up a little bit. There was a reveal that I kind of saw come in, but I didn't guess the full picture. I did still feel quite clever though that I'd managed to work out something to do with this reveal, because I don't think it was that obvious. I think it was actually quite a clever twist. Don't know if I mentioned, but I am reading an arc of this. I got an arc through NetGalley a while ago and just never got around to reading it, and that's also why I didn't really want to DNF this, because if I get a book through NetGalley, then I feel like I should give that book my full attention just so I can give a proper review. But yeah, one of the main problems that I've had with this book is that the main character is meant to be looking for her brother, right? She's meant to be trying to find out what happened to this guy, but she's spent so much time dithering about and faffing, and it's so frustrating to read about because the pace is so painfully slow, and I do prefer more fast moving thrillers. I like atmospheric thrillers like this is, but it's just, I'm 60% of the way through and nothing has happened. There's also been a few moments that just haven't really felt that logical to me. I can't believe that people would actually react that way in that situation, and so I've had to really suspend my disbelief that the characters are acting that way. I am hoping that I can finish this tonight and then I'll have ticked off another book from my magical readathon TBR, because I'm using this for the conjuration prompt, which is to read a book that has a source of light on the cover, and the UK edition has a silhouette of a door with the light shining behind it, so I think I can count it. I've also made a start on Good Girl Bad Blood. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I do have the physical copy, but I'm listening to it on audiobook because it's available on Scribd, and I like the narration on the audiobook actually. I listened to the first book on audio as a reread, so I read it physically a few years ago, and then because I wanted to continue the series, I listened to the audiobook a few months ago to refresh my memory, and I'm glad that I did reread the first book because there was a lot that happened, especially towards the end of the book, that I'd completely forgotten about. I won't talk too much on the plot for this one, but basically the main character in this series is a girl called Pippa, who I think is 17, and this book basically picks up, I think it's about a year after the end of the first book, where Pip was investigating a crime that had happened in her hometown a few years ago, because she suspected that the guy that was arrested for this crime wasn't responsible and he was innocent. Won't tell you what happened in the first book, but in this book, Pip has now kind of become famous because she started a true crime podcast to talk about what happened in the first book. She's also decided to retire from investigating because the first case that she worked on in the last book really consumed her and it took over her life, and it ended up putting her and the people that she cares about in danger. So in this book, she's determined that that's it. She's going to lead a quiet life, at least until she goes to university. However, one of her friends has got in touch to say that his little brother is missing. I say little brother, I think his brother is like older than Pip because it spoke about him dropping out of uni. So I don't actually know how old the brother is. So if the camera angle has changed, it's because I've just had to delete some stuff from my memory card and I can't even remember what I was saying about this book. But yeah, basically this guy has gone missing and the police don't really want to know. They're not willing to help because apparently this guy has gone missing before, and so Pip's friend has asked if she can help to find this guy and find out what's happened to him and if he's okay. I am so glad that it's now Friday because this week has been really stressful. I think it's because it was a long weekend last weekend, so I've been trying to cram 4 days of work, well no, 5 days of work into 4 days, and it's been stressful, and I'm excited that it's now the weekend. I think I mentioned actually that I'm going for brunch tomorrow in Birmingham, which I'm really excited about. We're going to Djinn. Haven't been before, but I'll try and get some footage to insert into the vlog just so you can see, because we're going for drinks afterwards as well, cocktails hopefully. But yes, enough rambling. I do actually have reading updates because I have now finished The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. The thing is that even though I didn't love this book in the end, I can see why some people would enjoy it because it's very dramatic and very over the top, and I think if you like the idea of a thriller that follows all these characters who are a bit of a mess, then I think that you would like this one more than I did. I think I've just decided that Lucy Foley as an author just maybe isn't for me. I think if I were to rank all of the books that I've read from her, then I'd say the Hunting Party is definitely at the bottom. I need to go back actually and change my rating for that because I gave it 3 stars initially, but on reflection I think it's probably more like a 2 stars. And then I'd probably put The Paris Apartment slightly above that, and then The Guest List above that. So yeah, my final rating I think for this is possibly going to be 3 stars. I'm going to run it through Corpile and see, but I think it's somewhere between a 2 and a 3. My favourite thing about it was definitely the atmosphere and the setting and how I felt like I was there in Paris in this apartment building. I don't want to say that this was predictable because I do think that it was cleverly written. I didn't have any solid theories as I was going through. It wasn't like I started the book and straight away guessed the entire direction that the plot was going to go in. It was more like as I was reading, I would get these thoughts of, oh, I wonder if this is what's happening. And then even though I wasn't 100% right, I was along the right lines. So yeah, I wouldn't say that this was super disappointing because I didn't have that high expectations going into it, but I'm glad that I've read it. I'm glad that I gave it a go because I was curious about this one, and it did feel slightly different to the other books that I've read by this author. But yeah, I think that this is going to be the last book that I read by Lucy Foley, because I don't think I like the characters that she writes, and they're not meant to be likeable. I think that I just really struggled to care as I was reading this. I am excited though to pick up my next book this evening. I'm going to make a start on Cersei by Madeline Miller, which I'm also using for EUROVISIONATHON to represent Greece. The Paris apartment, obviously, I use to represent France because it's set in France. And then Circe I'm going to use for Greece because this is a Greek myth retelling. I'll tell you more about what it's about once I've actually started it. I know that it's based on a Greek myth, as I said, but I don't know the full story. I think that Circe is sent to live on this island alone, and apparently it's very character driven and very slow moving from the reviews that I've read. But yeah, excited to see what this is all about because I really enjoyed The Song of Achilles when I read it last year, so I already know that I like Madeline Miller's writing style.
Got nowhere to go now, we just sleep on the couch. No place to call home now, but I'm sipping so sound when you stick around. Grew out of our hometown, cause the city's so loud. Let's go on a drive out to see what the lights out, don't wanna be found.
2, 3, 4.
Driving through Nevada with nothing but a satellite map. Oh, is this what it feels like to have nothing but each other? Cause honestly I like it like that. Not a lot, but it feels right to fly under the radar, sleep under the stars. No money and fame, but all I want is your heart. We're flying under the radar, living out of a car. Not a lot, but it feels right. Is this what it feels like to fly under the radar?
Hey everyone, so it's now Sunday and honestly I haven't really read much since I last updated this vlog because I went into Birmingham yesterday and I was gone for pretty much the whole day. I did read a little bit actually on the train into Brum. I started Circe by Madeline Miller, but I think I'm gonna wait until I've read a little bit more before I start forming opinions on it because I didn't really enjoy the beginning. It's fine, it's just that not much really happened. It's basically so far just introduced us to this character of Circe. It's told I think in first person as well, so from her point of view, and you learn about how she came into the world and you learn about her family and the way that they treat her. And yeah, I feel like it's going to take me a little while to get into it because the writing is very descriptive and very flowery, so I think I need to give it more attention than what I was giving it on the train yesterday. But I thought I would show you some of what I bought yesterday while I was in Birmingham because yeah, we went for breakfast in the morning and then we did a little bit of shopping and then went for cocktails and it was a really nice day. The weather wasn't great. The weather's a lot nicer today, which is a shame. I wish that yesterday's weather had been today's weather because that would have been perfect. But I'm rambling, I am so sorry. I thought I would talk through what I got yesterday because I went into Waterstones and I bought a few books because of course I did. And then I also went into Primark and I got a few bits in there. So the first thing that I bought in Primark was this Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt, which I thought was really cute. It's got like this embroidery design on it which says "Weeds are flowers too once you get to know them," and I thought it was really cute. It did occur to me that because the weather's getting nicer I might not be wanting to wear jumpers for much longer, but I thought that it was a nice pattern and I thought that it was cute, so I thought I would get it anyway. It feels really good quality actually as well. I also picked up this little top which, if I can get it the right way around, it's got again this kind of floral pattern, and I thought that that would just be really nice for the summer because it's this linen type of material, so I thought it would be nice with like jeans and stuff for work. You can tell that I'm not a fashion YouTuber because I have no idea how to talk about clothes in a video, but like I said, I also popped in to Waterstones and I got 3 books. So the first book that I got was Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. So this is, I think, sci-fi. I think this came out in like the 70s or 80s, but I know that my dad read this last year and really enjoyed it, and he said that it's the kind of book that I would probably enjoy too. It's about this black woman who keeps getting pulled back in time. So she lives in 1976, but she keeps getting pulled back to the 1800s. Heard really good things about this, and also it's quite short from the looks of it, so I'm hoping that I can read it quite quickly when I do get round to it. The next book that I picked up was A Master of Djinn by P. Djèlí Clark. So I have read the first novella within this series. I think I read it last year and I really enjoyed it actually, considering that it's like a 100-page novella. I really liked the setting. I think it's set in Egypt. Yeah, it's set in Cairo in the early 1900s, and it's about this detective, and she deals with cases that have some sort of supernatural element. So really excited to get around to that one too. I don't know whether this is a standalone or whether it's the first book in what's eventually going to be a series. But yeah, there's a couple of novellas that come before this. I've read the first one and I'd like to read the next one and then move on to this. The final book that I got was The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. So this is science fiction, and I've heard that this is a really good introduction to sci-fi if it's a genre that you don't read often. And I don't really read that much sci-fi, but I've heard that this is very cozy and it's very wholesome and it's very character driven, and I don't actually know what the plot is about. I think it's about this crew who are on some sort of mission in space, but I don't think it is very plot heavy. I think it is just about these characters and their relationships, and I thought I'd pick it up just because it sounded cute. I've heard a lot of people talking about this over the last few years since I started getting into BookTube, and I saw it and I thought the cover was cute, and I thought it sounds like the kind of thing I'd enjoy because I do tend to like wholesome and cute stories. So yeah, hopefully I can get around to this one soon. While I'm doing this mini book haul, I thought I would also mention another book that I acquired this week. I didn't buy this one myself, it was a gift, but that is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So this is a very, very chunky standalone fantasy, and I think it's set in this world where there's this prophecy that a dragon is gonna come about and destroy the place. It's been a really long time since I've heard the plot for this book because there was quite a lot of hype around it when it came out a few years ago, and it's one that I've been wanting to pick up for the past few years because I think this is also sapphic. I'm pretty sure that this is also on my 5-star predictions list. So I made a video last year where I talked through some of my 5-star book predictions, and I'm pretty sure that I put this book on that list because I thought it would force me to finally read it because I'm scared of this book. It's really, really chunky. I think it's like 900 pages or just over 800 pages. So it might not be one that I get around to soon, but it's one that I want to read soon because I want to read the books that were on that 5-star predictions list so I can do my reaction video and see if those books were actually 5 stars. This has been such a rambly update and I am so sorry. I need to go and speak to my dad now, and then I will catch up with you later. Hopefully I'll be able to do some reading this afternoon, but I also want to try and film my May TBR so I can get that done and sorted and edited and up this week. But yeah, I will catch up with you later. So it is now just gone 5 o'clock and I have done nothing today. I spoke to my dad earlier, and then my mum also just phoned me for a chat, and then I've been editing this vlog because I want it to go live tomorrow. But otherwise I filmed my roles for my TBR game. I haven't actually filmed me picking the books to fit the roles yet, if that makes sense, but I'm gonna hopefully be able to do that one evening this week because I am going away next weekend to see friends, so I'm not going to have time to do it then, and I would also like that video to go up on Thursday. But yeah, I just thought I would pop in to wrap up the vlog and say thanks for watching if you made it this far. I haven't done much reading at all this week, I don't think. Actually, no, because I finished one book for the Magical Readathon and EUROVISIONATHon. The same book for both readathons is what I mean. And then I've also started my next book for both of those readathons. So did I mention that I'm reading Circe? I think I mentioned that earlier, but yeah, I haven't read any more of that today. So hopefully I can do that later, but I do also want to try and read some more of Jade Legacy this evening because I'm about halfway through now. I'm still enjoying it, it's just that I'm scared to finish it and it's an issue that I need to get over. But yeah, like I said, thanks for watching. If you did make it this far, let me know in the comments what you've been reading this week, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and click subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye!